Welcome to the Relatable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.
Welcome to the Relatable podcast. And today it's episode 3 of our daddy issues, Caribbean daddies and their daughters. Yeah, it's episode 3. And guess who's in the hot seat? Moi. And I am bricking it. I am bricking it because, boy, y'all know. But yes, welcome. How have y'all been doing? And obviously, before we get into it, we have to do a check-in. How are y'all doing this week, ladies? Chantal, how are you? How has it been?
Y'all, remember when y'all were in school, right? In class. And the teacher would be talking and you would be praying that the teacher don't call your name.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm the teacher and I call in you.
God damn. I don't want to go first. And I still feel the same way. How has my week been? My week has been filled with hugs and kisses from my nieces and nephews. And that is all I have to say.
I was hoping you would say from other people, but anyway.
Manage your expectations.
Nieces and nephews are okay too.
Thank you. Manage your expectations, Sherween.
You know, don't you think? We need it. We need something.
So waiting for the salacious confession. But you know what?
Okay.
Hugs from nieces and nephews are very beautiful.
Yes,
very genuine and very pure. So it's fine. But one day, I want to say, boy, let me tell you, I end up in Anguilla and boy. And
what? Oh, yeah.
Why Anguilla?
I don't know.
Something, man.
No, it's only because my sister's there and it's very beautiful. And I just thought, yes, Chantal got whisked away on a private yacht to Anguilla by this Black American trillionaire. Right? And it's like, a trillionaire, right? And just, pop in like the crystal waters of Anguilla and just
beautiful.
It would have been like a rating on that episode of Relateable.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Fiona. I like that you put it out there into the ether.
Yes.
So I'm now going to call that in the private yacht. Yes.
Let us put it out there. Okay, so Fiona, how have you been? How has this week been for you?
Yeah, this week has been good. Just still the run up to finalizing the project and just going through things with a fine-tooth comb before the launch. But yeah, it's been good. The weather, I think all of those different things. And over the weekend, we went out of town with my mom to this river festival, which is supposed to be the second largest street festival in the UK after Carnival. Street festival, not festival, because people say, oh, Glastonbury is bigger, but a street festival. But it's by the river in Bedford. It was nice. It was just nice to just have a few moments with my mom walking by the river and just for her to appreciate the British summer. So that was nice. There were some moments where, you know, like just random people just being strangely aggressive, but these are people who have their own issues and it's just about not taking those things to heart. And those people are those people. But it was a lovely weekend of laughing and talking and eating nice food. A friend of ours from Ghana brought the biggest spread of Ghanaian food. And my mom got to try Ghanaian food for the first time, which she very much loved because she had some leftovers today. So it was just nice. A lot of family style conversation, sunshine, and hanging out by the river. It was lovely. It really, really was.
Sounds beautiful.
So, Sherween, how was your week?
My week has been good. So I'm coming down to the final few weeks and I am packing, in the middle of packing, by my last minute things, because I found out today that I need to ship my stuff in 3 weeks. if I want to get them there by the time I get to St. Lucia. So it's crunch time. So I'm just trying to get the last minute things and getting everything in order and putting everything in place. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. But I've been thinking, and you know what? I need the listeners. Listeners, I need you. I was thinking, and tell me what you think about that, ladies. I was thinking of doing the run up. So from the 1st of August to, I don't know, recording every day how I'm feeling, what's going on, what's happening.
Mm.
Because I know I'm not the only person I'm not Brexiting, blackzitting. I know I'm not the only person blackzitting the UK. And I know it will be hard for everybody. And I would love to know. If you all think it's a good idea. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you'll think. Should I do it? I want to do a day by day. Maybe I might do week by week. I know myself. I start with these things sometimes and then I'm like, yeah, I can't be bothered.
That's a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, I'm sorry.
Y'all get bored so quickly.
I know. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. So from the 1st of August to just start vlogging what's happening, and could be like a 2-minute thing. Just yeah. So let me know if you're interested. I will do it. If not, then yeah, I won't. I won't do it.
You know what, Sherween?
Did I do it anyway?
I love the sound of it.
Really?
But I will say this, committing yourself to something in the lead up to your Blackzit, right? May be a lot.
I know it will be a lot. It will be a lot because sometimes, Gasa, from now, I just needed to lie in bed and process everything because I spoke to the people doing the shipping. And he said to me, I need to come and see what you have so that I could give you a price. And I'm like, but Jay, the man go tell me 3,000, 4,000 pounds to ship.
No.
Where I getting that money now to pull that out from thin air. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm just thinking, yeah, do I do it or not? So yeah, give me some feedback, listeners. Let me know what you'll think. But my week has been good. It has been good so far. And yeah, that's me.
All right. So as we are here now in the hot seat, and if you see her head in her hands, like as if she's about to be interrogated in court, like seriously, we all had to do it. Yeah, like the woman is full on stress. Right? She's drinking rum straight. First it was wine, rum straight. Anyways, it's okay. So Sherween, you heard both my journey and Chantal's journey through daughterhood with our fathers, and it's all very different.
Boy, listen, yeah. This man is going to listen to this. His head is going to get even bigger than it is already. I could tell you. I could tell you. One thing for sure is it's very different from both of y'all. From Chantal, I always knew my dad, but there's stories there. And with Fiona, it was not bougie at all. It was just normal. Well, what I thought was normal. God, where do I even begin? I don't even know where to start.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, Jesus. Okay. Oje.
Sherween, I have never experienced this side of you where you are so reluctant to speak, even speechless. Like, I don't know who you are right now.
Okay, all right. Let's instead of being so broad, let's start with some more specific questions, okay?
Okay then.
So, what are some of your fondest memories with your father?
There we go.
All right. Okay. So that's a good place to start. Some context. My parents were together. I think my mom was probably 16 or 17 years old. And my dad's 1 year older. So he was, my mom was probably 16. My dad was 17. And they were together from then. A bit of background. My mom's family, my granddad was a farmer. My granny was a traveler going all over the place, just selling stuff like a speculator. And they did not like my father.
Mm.
They hated him. My granddad did not like him at all. He was like, there's no way I want you for my daughter. And understand that my grandparents had 10 kids. And out of the 10, my mom was the only one that finished. Most of them finished high school, but then she went on to go to college and she went on to study and so on and so forth. So she was the prized one. She was not like all the others. She loved education. And so my granddad saw her almost like, I don't want to say his favorite, but she was very dear to him. So they did not want my dad for my mom. And so growing up, I was the first grandchild on my dad's side. So I was very spoiled, very, very spoiled by my dad's family. It was a strange thing. It was very strange. If you see my parents, both of my parents are very dark skinned, very, very dark skinned. And when I was born very, very light skinned. So at the hospital, my uncle, my mom's brother, came to visit. And he went back and he said to my dad, that's Nico, you see that child looking white. Nico Gas, I don't think that is your child. Now, imagine being in that situation where your woman's brother is telling you that's not your child. Okay.
Wow.
So now I'm saying this because I just want you to understand. I just want you guys to understand. From the time I was born up to when I was 9 years old, my dad, he behind closed doors always made my mom's life a living hell. He was not the best lover, not the best partner. My dad and you will see the pictures. My dad was a very handsome man, very handsome. My dad used to ride bikes. My dad is the definition of a coxman. Caribbean people know what I mean when I say coxman. He is the definition. So my
I
dad
don't
used
know
to
what you
run around.
mean.
You don't know what I mean when I say coxman?
No.
A male fowl. That's that riding anything that pass. All right. All right. Just understand. My dad is the lover boy. All right.
Okay.
And my mom is very conservative. My mom, of course, she likes to have fun and stuff, but my mom is very, very straight and very loving and kind and so on and so forth. But my dad, she did not have the best relationship with my dad from the time I was born because he was under the assumption that I was not his child. Now, in saying that, I need to explain my dad never made me feel like I was not his child.
Okay.
It was a case of when him and my mom got into an argument or something, he would bring that up. But he would never, my dad has always been the most loving, caring father to me. I never felt that he treated me differently until one day. Until one day, when my sister was born, and she's 5 years younger than me. And I remember us going out somewhere and he met a friend of his. And Chantal, when you were speaking, it brought back some memories that came back to me. He met a friend and the friend said, oh, hey, Nico, that is your children. And he said, well, this one is mine. That one, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he said, that one, I don't know. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So my mom.
How did you feel, Sherween?
I remember I felt bad. I felt like, wow, okay. And I think probably that was the first time I knew about it because it was always behind closed doors. I knew my parents were always arguing. My mom will say there was physical altercations. I never witnessed it, but I believe my mom. I believe that he was not the best partner. And you know how these young men could be. Yeah, he was not the best partner. He was not the best lover to my mom. However, he was an amazing father to us. I have never not loved my dad or not, because the two of us are so much alike. He's doing so much, so much. It's crazy.
Indeed.
It's crazy. So that happened. And then my mom decided, okay, that was it. And I remember I was 9 years old and we did tests and my mom did a paternity test and he did it. And turns out, of course, I was his child.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
remember that. That I remember clearly. And then my granny, his mom, found out. And that's the first time I saw my granny give my dad the hardest slap across his
Wow.
face and said, how dare you? Because if you look at my granny, I look like my granny.
Right.
Picture of my granny. My granny have some Carib in her. She's very
Yeah.
light skinned. She's like Fiona.
Right.
She's like Fiona,
Right.
very, very light skinned. And I'm like her. I look like her. Everything about me is her. She said, how dare you? And she gave him one backhand.
Mm.
And I could never forget that. Never forget that. So, yeah. So, growing up with him as a child, like I said, I never felt unloved. My father he's a driver. He still is. He worked for Brydon's. And my dad I remember during the summer holidays, my dad used to take us in his vehicle all the time. So he used to have vehicles on the road, like a bus driver. And he also worked for Brydon's. So he would take his holidays from Brydon's the same time we had our holidays, and he would be driving his bus. And we would be in the front of the bus whole day, going up and down the routes, up and
Yes.
down the routes. And we would stop and buy stuff to eat, fried chicken and stuff. But he's always been loving. Every Sunday, we would ask him, Daddy, we want to go on the beach. He would take us on the beach. He would just pure love, pure love. One thing with him, he never liked being separated from us. I used to love being in the countryside. I'm a country girl. I used to go to the country to meet my granny and my granddad on my maternal side. And I always remembered every weekend when they left, they used to leave me sometimes in Choiseul. And my dad would be crying.
Oh,
He would be crying. He would be crying because he didn't want to leave me. He didn't want to leave me. And one weekend, I remember he left. He used to cry. He used to cry. And one weekend, he left. And then about an hour later, the man come back. And my granny's like, what happened? What, did you have an accident? He said, no, I forget my child. And he come and take me.
Sherween.
He came and picked me up. He said he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He
So
came, he picked me up and he
beautiful.
brought me back up to Castries. So it's always been that loving, very caring. My father was like a joke to us. When I say a joke, always joking around, always messing about. My dad is the one that we would have fun with. And if you remember from the mom's episode when we spoke about my mom was the disciplinarian.
Yes, I do
My mom
remember.
was the one who, but my dad was the fun one, the loving one. My dad, I think in all my life as a child, my dad, I remember him spanking me once. And that was because he was so scared because I did something so awful. So awful. It was Festival of Light. So my mom working in the city and I want to go Festival of Lights. Them time I already looking at boys and
Yes.
now I stay already. And my friends, all of them going to be at Festival of Lights. And I want to go. And my mom's in the city. So I asked my mom, I called her, I asked her, I said, can we come and meet her? I didn't want to go meet my mom. I wanted to go meet my friends. And my mom said, well, yes, if your dad allows you to come, y'all could come.
Right.
Anyway, I asked my dad. My dad said, well, it's raining heavily, and I don't think y'all should go. So I took my sister and we went outside and we waiting 10 minutes. Then we coming back. He laughing. He's like, y'all not going. I said, y'all not going. You're not going. Again, this time we wait 20 minutes. We come back inside. I tell y'all, you're not going. You're not going. The third time we see the bus passing by our house. We just stop the bus, jump in the bus, and go on our business. And I'm telling you, that Fiona holding her head.
What? Oh my
We left, and I took my sister, bear in mind, 5 years younger than me, in the heavy pouring rain, and I went to Festival of Lights with my sister.
How old were you?
I was probably 12, 13.
God.
And that means her sister would have been 7 or 8.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And they've gone
Okay.
about their business. And Festival of
Wow.
Lights is a nighttime festival, because it's the lights in the square for Christmas time, right?
Mm.
So like around December 14th or whatever is when they start putting, and they have the Festival of Lights Christmas time in the night, because people used to build lanterns and bring it there and used to turn on the lights in the square, and it was a big thing. So it's a nighttime.
Anyway, Fiona, do you remember the one year
The
girl died?
Yes.
Well, it was that year because it
Oh,
was
no.
it was raining. It was raining so heavily, and when they turned on the light, the girl got electrocuted.
Wow.
So now imagine my dad at home, busy, looking everywhere for us, and word coming back, somebody died at Festival of Lights.
Mm.
All right. I'm just giving you all some context. So the man had every right. Anyway, so we went and we met my mom. My mom worked literally outside where the square was. So we met my mom after I go and meet all my friends, and maybe it's not going to boys. It doesn't matter at this point. So we went home with my mom about 10 o'clock in the night, 9, 10 o'clock. We went home. When we got home, I swear to God, I never saw my dad so angry. Never saw him so angry. And he was sat in the living room shaking, and he had a belt, a leather belt, and he beat me. He beat us for the first time. And whilst he's beating us, he's crying. He was crying because it was like he thought he lost one of his daughters.
He was scared.
He was scared.
Yeah.
He did not know where we were. He did not know if something happened to us. And we rocking in, laughing. Got you! Got you! Got you!
Oh, no.
He bossed our ass.
Wow.
And that was the first and only time my dad ever laid hands on us. And you know what? I will never forget that. And I never did that shit again. Never did. But after, he was so apologetic. He cried and cried and cried. And he said, y'all, we scared him. But that's the type of man he is. I don't know anybody who has a bad word to say about my father. I don't know anybody personally. My father is one of the sweetest people you could come across, but just not sweet to his woman at the time. But when it came to us, he was like the most loving, protective, and just fun, a whole heap of fun. So yeah, that's some of the fun memories I have of him. Well, not the beating, obviously. Another time, I remember I was a little girl, though. I was probably I was still in primary school. So I was younger than 12. I was probably about 9, 10. And I used to be in this girl group that we formed with my cousins, or my cousin called Super Sub Dancers.
Right.
Yeah. We were the Super Sub Dancers.
The Super Sub Dancers.
How is this the first time I heard about that? I know Sherween used to be, she said she used to dance. She didn't tell me the name. She said some dance troupe, and she used to split. And the time she went to something down south, and was it the school or something? Nope. So this is a new revelation.
Wow.
So we was part of a whole dance troupe. Yeah. And so we have in St. Lucia, we have a dance troupe called Laserfur, right? And they have a very signature style, which is very much the standardized Caribbean dance. You know the moves. Chantal, you know
I know the moves.
You know exactly
what
them well. Look like, and I know you never see them. Every Caribbean island have the same version of Laserfur, right? So, Sherween, could you please just expand a little bit about this?
Enlighten us.
I really want to know, because this one is new, eh?
No, and there are pictures. Lord help me, there are pictures. I was part of this dance troupe called Super Sub Dancers, and we used to go around the island, and first we raised money to buy the first ambulance for Choiseul.
Great.
Wow.
Yes, we were dancing. We went around the island dancing, and then we went to Choiseul, and we had this massive concert. So many people, lots of people. And we raised enough money to buy an ambulance. So one time, one time, we went, it was a Je ne Creole event.
Yes. But Sherween, before you continue, I know what that is, but maybe there are people listening who don't know what
Oh,
that
it's
event
Creole
is.
month. Well, Je ne Creole is the Creole Day, basically. That's the
Mhm.
translation. And it's this massive festival where you eat traditional Creole food, you wear Creole
Dream.
outfits, we play Creole music, play Creole games. We have all the people pretending to be the Creole princess and the king and queen and all sorts of things. So it's just this big traditional thing where we have all the Creole traditions and we have this festival and it culminates on the last Sunday, I think, in October, the last weekend in October. So we went to that and I was there and I was dancing because I could dance. I was, hey, listen, yeah, I could climb up walls. Yes, listen, I was a dancer. And my father, I did dancing, and a crowd started building around me. So my father put me on top of the car. We used to have a brown Datsun. Brown Datsun.
Not a brown
A
Datsun.
brown Datsun.
Yes.
And the man put me on top of the car. Yeah. And I whining. I tell you, I feel like I go all on my head. You see all them people are twerking and splitting the middle, and them people don't know. They don't know. They don't know, Gasa. I think I was all on my head spinning around.
Oh
And
my
I pull
life.
one crowd. And them days, my mom's very entrepreneurial. My mom, we used to have like a cooler full of drinks and we selling drinks. We selling drinks. And I pull a crowd in it and all drinks sell out.
That's right.
All drinks sell out. And I've never seen my dad so proud of me. So proud, so proud. I was whining and just getting on real bad until I was like 9 years old, 10 years old max. These are the nice, fun memories growing up, going to the beach, going to the countryside, and just, yeah, enjoying life. My father was, like I said, the most loving dad. And our relationship, it kind of solidified when my mom left. So just before my mom left St. Lucia, I was still going to high school. He and my mom split up, and then he started dating this Jamaican woman. And that Jamaican woman made she tried to make my mom's life a living hell, but my mom didn't care because at that time she was already over the whole thing.
Right.
So she didn't really care. But I got so angry at my dad for allowing that to happen. And I remember walking in town and he was driving past and he kept calling me and he was like, Sherween. And I was like, fuck you. I said, fuck you. And he was driving past and he parked the vehicle and he's like, Sherween, I need to speak to you. Sherween, Sherween. And he calling and then he started crying. Sherween, Sherween. And I was walking like it was not me he's speaking to. I tell him, fuck you already. And I on my business because I was so angry. I was so angry at the fact that you're allowing this woman to take my mother for Papi Sugar, sir. This woman, this Jamaican thing that come down and just want to what? That's I was so angry at him, and I think we fell out big time. I didn't speak to him, and then my mom left. When my mom left him to look after us. That was not a good idea. That didn't last 2 months. That didn't last 2 months. My dad was like, yeah, I'm out of here. My father went and I was like, how old? 17? And my father went and do his business, went and live with his woman and left us in the house.
What?
Yeah, he didn't stay. He didn't stay. He went to live his life. But at that time, I was already living my life. I was already involved with Haley and Jade's dad. But that is when we got close. That's when I saw who my father was. When I got pregnant with Haley, he realized, okay, I need to step up now. And I didn't have the best situations. I was living in a house, no electricity, no water, pregnant. Sometimes I didn't have any food. I was sick. At one time, I was hospitalized for about 3 weeks to a month because I was having such terrible morning sickness. And my dad used to come and see me every single day. and we would sit down, and what he ate, I ate. He would come with one loaf of bread, we would split it in half. He would say, I cannot leave you hungry. I cannot do that. And we became so close. And I think this is where we've really, really formed our relationship. When I say fell in love with my dad again, I saw the loving, caring man who wanted what was best for me. And he would give me, stay without and give me. Let's put it that way. And ensure that, ensure that I was fine. He saw how ill I was, and he was just there. He was there. I think from that time, our friendship, our relationship, father-daughter relationship, it just kicked off. It was no longer like, I'm daddy's girl. No, it was, this man is there for me.
Wow, Sherween.
Yeah, it was really, really something. And even with Jade as well, when I was pregnant with Jade. But from then on, our relationship just took off, and we bonded really, really well. Really well. And I've never looked back. I think we spoke last year, Fiona. I spoke to him last year because my auntie, I went to St. Lucia, and my auntie, I was staying at my aunt, and she said to me, I have something for you. And I said, what's that? And she went out and she pulled this piece of paper in an envelope, and she said, I have this for you. And I opened it, and it was the results from the paternity test.
Oh no.
Yes.
What?
Something I had long forgotten, and she kept it.
Wow.
She said, I kept it for you. In case you forgot. I said, Auntie, I would never forget. But you know something? It's long past me. That's done. I've reckoned my dad and I. But I still brought it up with him. And of course, he burst into tears.
He's so beautiful. Bless this man. He's not afraid to cry in front of you.
Girl, no, listen, the man does cry for anything. He's the biggest coxman and the biggest softie. The biggest softie. He burst into tears. We didn't have much growing up. We were not wealthy. We were all right. We were all right. Both of my parents worked. We were all right. And my dad just was always there. Always there. And that's one of the things I appreciate about him. Sometimes I don't speak to him for months, but when we do speak, it's like we were speaking yesterday.
And that's, you know what, that is a mark of a really authentic, for me, relationship. It's someone that we haven't connected for a few months because life is life. And then when we do reconnect, it's like it was just yesterday.
Yep.
That's beautiful, Sherween.
And he's so loving, so kind. And like I said, I do not want to take away from the fact that he was probably not the best to my mom. And you know what? My dad got married at 50. My dad vowed that that's it for him. He's done. I don't think he should make that vow. He should have. I'm not saying anymore because I don't want to cause problems for him.
Please don't.
But let's just say once a coxman, always a coxman.
Oh, Sherween, no, you can't put your father in hot water.
It's fine.
That.
It's fine.
Stop it.
It's fine. Let me give you a story. Let me give you a story.
Okay.
Let me give you a story. So the first time. Let me explain to you the levels of coxman.
No, you can't do this.
Not now. That was way before he got married.
Okay. All right.
When I was married and I took my husband to St. Lucia for the first time to meet my family, to meet my dad, we went to this nice restaurant. You remember Chat House? I don't know if it's still there. We went to Chat House. It's this beautiful restaurant. It sat on the water in Rodney Bay. It's like a steakhouse. So we took my dad there. So we enter, and this waitress is smiling. Oh, Nico, hi, how are you? Long time no see. At first, straight away, my eyes rolling because I already know that is one of his things. I already know.
A daughter always knows.
And he's smiling, say, yes, darling. And he's very tactile. He'll speak to you and he will touch you and hold your hand and he will want, So he'll speak to her and he's like, yes, that's my daughter and that's her husband and this and that. Oh, I'll give you the best table. Don't worry, let's go. Give us the best table. Okay, dinner going on. Another waitress come. Hey,
no.
Nico, I didn't see you there. My father's face just turned upside down because he have relations with both of them.
Oh boy.
Both of them in the same restaurant, both of them working.
Both
So
of
now,
them.
now I have to navigate how we're going to enjoy dinner, maybe get a nice little discount. Yeah. Maybe get a nice little discount and not have the two of them suss what's going on. So
Wow.
they're talking to the woman and the other one they're watching and I'm like, yeah, boy, gee. So when the other one come, I'm making conversation with her and thing, keeping her sweet. So I have to be the man wingman. I'm his wingman. I'm his wingwoman. We go and it happens all the time, everywhere we go. I know, Chantal, I know I have about 6 brothers and sisters.
No.
I know I do. But they were never claimed and the women never came forward. So
Right.
it is what it is. Okay. But I know for a
Wow.
fact that I have about 6 brothers and sisters out there,
In
apart
the
from my
world.
one sister with my mom. Yeah. But he saw Fiona last year and my God, he fell in love.
Of course he did.
First of all, okay, Sherween father is just very, very charming. He has a very wide smile. He's very warm. When you meet him for the first time, and anytime after that, he's always like he's the happiest person in the world to see you. To be in his company, you never feel uncomfortable. You never feel unwelcomed. And he makes you feel like family, even though he'll first talk and whatever. But I think one of the things I wanted to highlight, Sherween, is that how much pride he had in seeing you shine. So that moment when he put you on the top of the car, right, was not to sell drinks. It's because he saw you shining and he wanted you to shine brighter. And that's why he put you on top of that car, because he wanted everybody to see you shining. I don't think your father, yes, it's all good to get a little extra money from the drinks, but it wasn't about that. It was about you at that moment. And he is a man, from what you have been saying, he's a man who's driven by emotion. And a lot of men are driven by pride. And you can see that the fact that he wasn't afraid to cry in front of his daughters. Even in town, when he himself is a driver, and if you're a driver in the Caribbean, everybody know you. And that he wasn't afraid to, he didn't put his pride first. He was feeling hurt and he was trying to talk to you. And that his pride did not take precedence. And that's a big deal. That's
to be vulnerable in that
deal.
way.
Exactly, to be vulnerable. So I think it's looking at those things. But let me tell you, when you meet Sherween father, it's like meeting a longtime friend, a longtime uncle or family member. And he really is a person, like when you meet him, he's like, oh, I have this for you. And any little thing you have, like he's sharing it. Even when we went down to the countryside and everything and stuff like that, he was just always looking on what to bring up and like how to share it to make sure that everybody was organized. That is Sherween's father. Just the warmest, and funnier. Very, very, very funny. Very, very funny. You're saying about you know which one I'm going to say? I'll give you the PG version. In fact, you know what? Forget it.
My dad and I are very much alike.
Very much. I need to say that once again so our audience understands.
I get it from him. Yes, so much so. My dad, let me give you all the story. My dad found out I used to smoke. My dad, somebody go and tell my father, boy, Nico, I see Sherween smoking weed. I see Sherween smoking weed somewhere. So my dad, I came in the boulevard and my father, because my father, listen, if my father is ever not high, that is when you worry. Okay.
Oh no.
He's always always, when he's driving, he doesn't come across that because man smoking from the time he's 16. You understand?
Right.
You'll never know. But he's always high, always. So somebody come and tell him, boy, I see Sherween smoking weed. So he wait for me to come from school. And he said to me, so I hear you smoking weed. I'm like, no, what? Who tell you that? No, that's not true. That's not true. They lie on me. And he talking, he's rolling his joints, he chopping the weed and he cleaning it, taking out his let me tell you something. If you are smoking, please make sure you know where that weed come from. Make sure you know who you're smoking with, because people has laced the weed, people has do this. And I'm like, Daddy, I don't know why you tell me this thing. It's not me. They didn't see me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, quarreling. He just keep rolling his thing. So eventually he finished talking and he finished roll a joint. He spark up, take a draw, and he tell me, you want some, man? I watch him and I say, yeah, give to me. And from then on, better believe, every time I'm in St. Lucia, the only place I'm going to get my herbs is from my father.
As it should be.
As it should be. I know it's safe. I know it's clean. I know he's never going to want to try and hurt me. He tells me, come to me. I will provide you. If you're going to smoke, you're going to do it properly. I will provide you. He will roll, because I could not roll before. I could roll now, but he couldn't roll before. He would roll up a whole stack of joints for me and he tell me, look, go with that. Don't let nobody roll for you. Don't let nobody give you weed. Next thing they fuck you up. That's how close I am with him. Very, very close. I'm literally his wingman. We speak about everything. So what Fiona was going to say, Lord help me. So my dad was in the car with Fiona and myself. Yeah, my dad sat in front with Fiona. And we driving down south. And he's saying, boy, Sherween, they have a pumpkin vine growing right in front of his door. And it was looking messy. It was making the front of the door look messy. So he cut it. He cut the vine. When he cut the vine, he see it dripping water. He leave it. He come back after about an hour. He see it still dripping water. He say, hold on a second. So he take a glass and he put the glass under the vine and he collect the water. It drip. It full the glass with water. So my father see nothing better to do than to drink the fucking water, innit? He drank the water. Wow. Chantal, I swear to God, my father said to Fiona and I, as the next morning I wake up and the thing reach all in my navel. The pumpkin water make the thing so hard it reach all in my navel.
Wow.
Chantal.
I think he said it was resting on top of his belly and it passed his navel or something.
Oh,
like it was so much focus on the water so clear from the vine. Like the water was crystal clear in the glass and it just looked so pure. And he said it must be good for you. But then he just had to drop the part to give inclination of length, that passed the navel. I was resting on top his belly, like okay, thank you, Daddy. Okay. We're like driving back, we did around the island, and like we're driving back late in the night, and you just drop that story randomly. I was like, okay, yeah, man. It was just so. The thing is, he didn't even do it in a sexual way. Yeah. It was in a very jovial, funny way. But in how in which almost like how Sparrow can throw in these in calypso music, but it doesn't feel sleazy. It's witty and funny. And that's Sherween's father.
Okay.
In a nutshell. In a
nutshell, indeed.
That is him. Even though my parents split up since I was like 14, 15 years old. When they split up, my dad is still so close to my family. When I say so close, I mean he sees my mom's family every day. He will go, he will make sure they have food. He will make sure if he goes down south, he'll bring food up for them. He will make sure they're fine. And that's how close he is, not just to me, but my family, but my mom's family as well. It's like he's part of the family. I don't know how else to describe him other than just loving, sweet, kind, funny. And we just had the most amazing, and apart from the obvious, I had an amazing childhood growing up with my dad.
Yeah.
He did everything. Money was never really an option when it came to him. My dad, we never wanted for much. We didn't have everything, but we were never wanting, if you get where I'm coming from. It was just really, really nice.
And that is so beautiful.
Yeah, and even after this, my parents split up, we kept that relationship. And like I said, the bond grew closer when I was pregnant with with Haley. I love my dad. I love my mom as well a lot, so much. But the relationship I have with my dad is like I could just be me, never any judgments. Never any judgments. Never. If I tell my father, boy, daddy, I up to something there. My father will be like, yeah, just make sure you're doing the right. Just make sure you're right. Just make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. That's our relationship. And the funny thing is, he's not like that with my sister. He's not like that. He sees my sister as the little girl that has asthma, and he's very protective of her. But when it comes to me, the two of us like buddies. And it's strange.
It sounds safe for you. It sounds like
very
a really safe place.
Very safe, very safe. Very loving, and he's like one of my best friends. Yeah, he really is. Really, really is.
I'm happy that you've had that relationship in your life, that consistency.
Yes. Yes. And it never changed. Even after the breakup, it never changed. And I think our bond just grew stronger despite all the stuff that had happened between him and my mom. And in fairness, it wasn't to do with us. It wasn't, they had their issues. And I thank my mom so much. My mom, it took her a long time to open up and tell us what she was going through. She never wanted us to harbor ill feelings towards our dad. Never. And I love her for that. But as an adult, knowing what he did, and I confronted him, and my father will say to you today, the one woman he will forever love is my mom. And I will say to him, you will never get her. I don't want you to get her. I don't want you to get her. Because I know you. I don't want you to bring that for my mom anymore. Leave my mother alone. But I love him. I love him to bits. That's my guy.
Oh, Sherween. And that is a great place to end your share in this trilogy of daddy-daughter relationships, Caribbean parenting, daddy issues, whatever you want to call them. It's been so, I've been using the word beautiful over and over again as I listen to you recount your stories and your experiences with your dad, because it really sounds like a beautiful relationship. And I'm so happy that we decided to have this trilogy, and we wanted to do it since the first season, but we thought, we've done moms in the first season. We'll save the dads for the second season. And yes, there was reluctance, I think, from everyone of us, but for different reasons. But it's just been so good. And what I get from both you and Fiona sharing, I get even more of a sense of the makings of you, right? So your mom episodes definitely showed me, okay, so this is where Fiona and this is where Sherween. And so with you sharing about your dads, because Sherween, you refer to your dad as fun-loving and kind and compassionate. And these are the words that I would use for you.
Oh.
Sherween is so much like her dad.
I know, I really am. I really am like him in every way. We're both Sagittarius, by the way.
He's a Sagittarius as well.
Yes, he is. He is.
Lord Father.
He is.
Okay, according to Jariah, we're doomed. This now makes so much more sense. He's a Sagittarius, so of course, right. All right. Oh my goodness. So ladies, just listening to your story filled me with so much joy, Sherween. And I know we're going to listen, Fiona, so much joy, so much. And I know that we're going to dive into our joyful shares. So Fiona, over to you.
So folks, since we had such a happy episode today. And I mean, Sherween, it wasn't as bad. Remember in the beginning, she was like her head in her hands, she
I don't
drinking the
want to
rum
do it.
straight. And look how wonderful the episode came out. So let's bring it in with you, Chantal, in what brings you joy this week.
What has been bringing me joy this week? You know what? I don't know what's going on with me, and I'm just going with the flow, letting life expand and unfold as it needs to. And I have been dancing a lot this week and last week to music centered around Orishas.
Oh.
I found these playlists. I intentionally looking for them on various music streaming platforms. And I found playlists Yemeya, Oshun, Ogun. In the mornings when I wake up and I do my morning practice, I've added this 5 to 10 minute dancing to this beautiful music. Now, bear in mind, I don't understand half of what is being said, like more than half. Because I haven't really explored African traditional religions. And I'm about to do a course, an introductory course in that, which has been created by friend of the Relatable podcast, Chantrell.
Of
right?
course it is.
Yes.
Of course.
Hello, I have signed up for her introduction to African traditional religions. But there's something that's happening, there's some spiritual, and one of the reasons that I came home was to renew my spiritual connection and to ground down in that. And what's coming up for me is this call to connect with my African ancestry. And so usually I would play music from this platform, Meditative Mind, and it's all very lovely and birds tweeting and all the stuff. And I have just been really connecting more to this, and I've been really enjoying letting my body just move instinctively. So I don't control how I'm going to express myself. I don't control my moods. I just let it happen. And it's felt so good. It clears my mind. I feel more steady. I feel more grounded. It's really been shifting for me a lot of latent energy that possibly has been weighing me down. And it really fills me up and gives me great joy. So that's what's been giving me joy in the last week or so.
So Sherween, ma'am, what has brought you joy this week?
I think it has to be Haley. I'm sorry. I know we've said about kids and partners. Well, I think it has to be Haley. I think she's really, really showcasing her talents with that project. I'm so proud of her. And I think a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, she was really ill, very ill. We were worried. Would she be able to do it? And she just overcame and put everything into it. And the outcome is just so amazing. It's so beautiful, the work she's done with Fiona as well. But just the fact that she didn't not allow whatever it is she was going through to stop her. I think throughout the sickness, she was very adamant that she just wants to get better so that she could go back to the globe. And that I was really proud of her for that. She would not, some people probably would just turn their back, walk away and say, yeah, I can't do this. She didn't. And I'm so proud of her for that. I'm really, really proud of her. So yeah, she's been bringing me joy, as well as Jade. I have to mention Jade as well. Jade, listen, she's taking everything on the chin with us leaving. She's not going to be, we're not a train ride away anymore. And she's like, okay, so I just need to start saving so that I could come to St. Lucia whenever I want and blah, blah, blah. And she's moving house. She's changed her course. She's no longer doing Korean. She's going to be doing only international relations with politics. She's dropped the linguistics because she's quite fluent, I would say 80% fluent in Korean, South Korean, in Hangul. So she said, you know what? I rather spend my time doing international relations and politics because the course was too focused around Korean. So she's focusing on that and she's changing house. This child is 19 years old and she is doing things like a big woman. You understand things? The first time I moved house on my own, I was 40 something years old. And there she is doing all these things. And I'm like, wow, So I'm really, really proud of my kids, my girls. They're the ones bringing me joy this week, I must say. Haley and Jade. Yeah, that's what's bringing me joy. So yeah, Fiona, talk to me. What's bringing you joy?
What's bringing me joy is, so the globe that we're doing, that Haley has been working on, is we're telling a solution story. And the solution story is, because one of the things is solution history. If you ask solution, 7 times British, 7 times French. That's all we see, right? But then there was this revolution that happened in the 1790s. And it is about the movement of the Negmawo, which was a term that was used as an insult, but it was the enslaved Africans who came out of the plantations and they had this whole war against slavery and they're battling the British. And one of the stories that's now in the forefront of solution conversations about history is this woman called Flo, right? And Flo was this mixed race woman who killed her master, burned down the plantation, and became the general or like a leader of the army of the Negma War. And she was apparently amazing with like guerrilla tactics and like her war strategies in defeating the British, in which slavery ended in St. Lucia. They said between 1 and 3 years. It's a bit muddled, but the fact is at one point in history, we won, and it was a woman in the forefront. So everyone was like, oh my God, Flo, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I've been speaking with this historian. So what had happened is the British reinvaded, they reinstated slavery, and then they rounded up all of the rebels and shipped them off on a convoy that left St. Kitts, about 3,000 people. 2,500 of them was sent to Portchester Castle in Portsmouth. And so for the last couple of years, I've been speaking with some historians who've been working on telling these stories. And one of the historians is she's doing her PhD, and she's been tight-lipped about the information in it because she's like, she doesn't want people to thief her work, because in the world of academics, they thief your work if you share too much. Once you've published your PhD, it's published and it's your work, and people can only reference it. But before it's actually published, there is leeway for people to thief your stuff, right? She said, Fina, I really want to tell you, and this is a white lady, and she's never been to St. Lucia. She said, I am doing this for the St. Lucian people. And I am going to meet her tomorrow. And one of the things she said, because I had asked her for some names, because her PhD that she's working on is of the prisoners who came in from St. Lucia and other parts of the Caribbean to stay in the castle, and focusing on the women. And I was talking to her about Flo, and she said to me, because there's some historians say Flo never existed and a whole bunch of whatever. But she said to me, if you think Flo's story is amazing, Flo has nothing on some of these women that I have dug up for this paper that I'm doing. And that's not to diminish Flo, but it is to celebrate that Flo is not an anomaly, that Flo is one of many women who did great things. So I'm excited to meet her. She won't be able to tell me much tomorrow because her paper is not published yet, but she's going to be giving us a personal tour of the castle tomorrow and sharing with us some of the stories and things. So I am very, very, very excited for that, because it's me, I like the personal stories, not in 1764, whatever. I want to know this woman called Mary and like she did this thing, and you know what I'm saying? So that's what's bringing me joy this week.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes of your connecting, Fiona.
Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you, when I found out about her, I went down a rabbit hole. You know me, investigative journalist.
I'm sure you did.
Right? I found out her name. I got her email address. Then I got her mobile number, and I just called a lady randomly on a day. I'm like, hello, is this a historian who wrote this paper? And call her like on her house phone, but she was really lovely. So I'm very, very excited to meet her tomorrow. So
nice one. Oh, lovely. So now that we've caught up and what's bringing us all joy, it's time to take a trip under the mango tree. And this week we have the beautifully symphonic and soothing sounds of nighttime in Nevis. Welcome to Under the Mango Tree.
That was such a wonderful, wonderful episode, Sherween. Thank you for sharing. Going real deep into a lot of very complicated but also beautiful moments with your journey through daughterhood. And we're very thankful for what you have shared. Please do not slide into Sherween's DMs when you see Zaddy's picture, okay? All right.
You know they will.
Well, maybe you could. I don't know. That's a discussion between Zaddy's manager, Sherween, and y'all, okay? But thank you so much for joining us this week, and I hope you like this conclusion of our quote-unquote Daddy Issues series. And stay tuned because we have a lot of more exciting news and things coming, okay? But just remember that a shared journey
brings hope.
Bye, y'all.
Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.